Hello everyone and welcome to this very special event. I'm your host, Sonia Lennon. Today marks the launch of CPL Resources' new brand and identity, the physical manifestation of a strategically responsive business designed for you, its valued clients. I'm joined in conversation today by CEO Anne Herity and CFO Lorna Khan. We'll be talking a little bit about the past, but more importantly, the future. Afterwards, we'll hear from Barry Winkles, Chief Strategy Officer and Head of the Future of Work Institute, and he'll share his vision for our new, strange and ever-evolving workplace. You'll also hear from CPL leads, the experts, familiar faces and friends who work every day to support your business needs. Today, more than ever before, CPL Resources is primed and ready to work the future. Anne and Lorna, thank you so much for joining us today. What an amazing story. I mean, I know the story of CPL so well, but Anne, 30 years old the company is now, and it started with you alone. You must have some amazing stories.
Well, it's certainly been an interesting journey, Sonia. It's been challenging, it's been fun, it's been rewarding, and I'd have to say, even stressful sometimes. But I work with a great team of people, and that's really what makes the difference. Of course, when we set out, our absolute passion was to connect really good quality talent with great organisations.
What I love about your story is that you were effectively a sectoral pioneer. You chose your niche and your niche was technology, and nobody else was doing that at that point.
Yes, we started out as a specialist in the tech sector, and the reason we wanted to be specialist really was because I believe you have to build a really deep knowledge of both the organisations that we work for, but also of the sectors within which they operate in order to really help people and support them in their careers. I mean, at the end of the day, your career is right up there with your health, wealth and happiness. So being specialist and our recruiters having that specialist knowledge is very important.
And I suppose when you look at the sector you chose, as in technology, it certainly wasn't all rosy.
No, we've certainly had to weather a few storms along the way. So, for example, we were a specialist technology recruiter all through the 90s, and then we listed on the stock exchange in 1999 and very quickly ran into the dot-com bubble. And of course, the technology sector in particular collapsed, a very difficult time. And it was at that time that we really had to pivot, develop a new strategy then. I worked very closely with our team, and that's when we started to build specialist businesses in a number of sectors, which I mentioned to you earlier.
Yeah, it's almost like a crisis is a great opportunity for a responsive company to create new opportunities. And that wasn't the only crisis that you faced.
Oh, we've faced a few. So, for example, in 2007, we grew really well through the early 2000s, and then in 2007, 2008, faced the financial crisis. That was particularly difficult. You know, we saw people having to emigrate. We saw organisations really in huge distress, and it was a very difficult time. But, you know, we came through strong, and we developed our services, continued to build the business, and of course now we're right in the eye of the storm of the COVID crisis. And in many ways, I think that's more difficult because not only is it an economic crisis and, you know, people do fear for their livelihoods given the impact that it's having on the economy, but it's also a health crisis and people are fearing for their health too. So there's a lot of fear around at the moment.
So given all of that, and it is obviously the pervasive mood in the world, are there reasons to be optimistic?
Well, I must say I'm encouraged because I think if we look throughout history, people have always shown their ability to adapt. And I think, you know, now is the time for us as business leaders to really see the unseen and to really help and support people to reach their full potential.
So 30 years journey with CPL and not over by a long shot. I have to ask you, what is your biggest learning?
Well, for me, the biggest learning is that it doesn't matter what the crisis is or what type of business you're in. The thing that is really most important are the people who are part of your team and the people who have the will and the attitude to succeed. And that's why I really think that true vision of leadership is seeing that potential in people and really committing to their success.
Lorna, you are one of those people who are part of the success of CPL as CFO. Although Anne speaks about sort of the growth of CPL in relation to the clients, there's also a sort of an internal growth from the strategy itself. Tell us a little bit about that.
Absolutely. Our strategy is to be world-class at supporting our clients through transformational talent solutions and experiences. So, I mean, what does that actually mean? It means that we provide talent and workforce solutions to our clients, in many cases customised to their specific needs, to help them drive transformation within their own organisations. You know, our approach pretty much is partnership-led. We work closely with the clients. We share their ambition to drive transformation through optimised workforce models. And all the time, you know, we're problem-solving, we're co-creating, we're brainstorming, and we're drawing from over 30 years of experience in the recruitment and staffing industry.
So on a day-to-day basis, what do you see as the impacts of that strategy?
Well, first of all, I'd probably say that the strategy isn't revolutionary in nature, okay? It's evolutionary. So what that means is we are amplifying the evolution of our business from a traditional recruitment company to a talent and workforce solutions company in a very structured and focused way, using three key themes: future ready, client first, and total solutions. We're aligning our business activity and our investment in M&A and technology to this business strategy. And really, Sonia, it's about being laser focused in the activities that will drive our strategic success.
So in terms of the strategy then, Lorna, what has been achieved to date?
I think the milestones that we have achieved are many. So a few examples would include newly launched and refreshed brand collateral in CPL, being the mother brand, the Future of Work Institute, Cavelin. We have developed a strategic account management approach and mindset to how we manage and develop our client relationships. We have organised the business across our three key service lines, which is recruitment, managed solutions, healthcare. We've invested in innovative technology, both internally and externally. And then crucially, we've made key hires to bolster the group's leadership capabilities. And all of this, Sonia, we believe is moving us forward in fulfilling our strategic vision. And you know what, deep, I think, and at the very core of our strategy is a belief in what we do and in the value that we create for our clients and candidates. And that is what is ultimately bringing our strategic purpose to life.
And Anne, there's no doubt that the common thread running through all of this conversation is people. But from a company point of view, CPL has changed profoundly over the last 10 years. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, CPL has evolved over the last 10 years to meet the needs of our clients. 10 years ago, we were a traditional recruitment company, mainly placing people in permanent, contract and temporary positions across a range of sectors. But even then, we were thinking about how to work the future, and we were anticipating the changes that were coming down the tracks in the world of work. What we saw was that people were looking for more flexibility, and our clients were looking at different ways of managing their talent needs and their workforces. So in CPL, we've developed a range of really innovative workforce solutions across the full spectrum from, of course, recruitment is always a core part of it, but also we've developed some really good workforce solutions around outsourcing, around managed services and around consulting. Yeah.
So Anne, give us a snapshot of the levels of employment that CPL is responsible for.
So we've just over 13,000 people working with us at the moment, both in Ireland, the UK and across Central and Eastern Europe. And last year we placed just over 8,000 people in permanent jobs.
So Lorna, Anne mentioned Work the Future. What does that mean for CPL?
CPL as an organisation has for many years been at the forefront of thought leadership with respect to the future of work. Our Future of Work Institute, we continue to invest in it. It's a leading edge think tank and a consultancy services business. And the reason we do this is twofold. Firstly, we want to keep ahead of developments within the sphere of the world of work. And secondly, we want to be able to innovatively solve problems for our clients. The Future of Work Institute is a platform for our clients and our candidates to develop customised talent solution programmes together, and our recently launched Enterprise Solutions Group is there and ready to support the service delivery.
And there is no doubt that CPL are thought leaders in the space of future of work. How important is good leadership at this time now more than ever?
Oh, well, leaders have really had to adapt to keep pace with the change that's happening in their organisations and right across the workforce. I suppose one of the biggest changes that I've seen is that in the past, businesses were very focused on responding to one group, which was essentially their shareholders or owners. Today, business leaders are responsible to a much broader range of stakeholders. So, for example, they're responsible to their clients, they're responsible to their employees, and they're responsible to the communities in which they work, as well as to their investors and shareholders.
So when you take that into account, what are people looking for?
And certainly in terms of attracting talent to an organisation today, and we see a lot about employer branding and how to attract talent. But what we would find in CPL is that that candidates in particular and quality talent are focused on the 3 Ps. And those 3 Ps are purpose, people and profitability. So quality talent today wants to work with companies that have a conscience, who really understand their responsibility to all their stakeholders and particularly to the communities in which they operate.
And what's the profile of this new leader?
Well, in many ways, there are lots of leadership qualities that haven't changed. We still need leaders who can create a vision, who can inspire people, who are absolutely trustworthy and are of strong character. Character is a fundamental quality of leader, of a good leader. But one of the things that's really important today is that ability for leaders to have empathy, to be able to relate and connect to their teams. I think what I see most of all is that the old style command and control type of leadership is out, and empathy and an ability to relate to your team, and leaders who can do that are the leaders who get the best results.
Sounds good to me. Anne and Lorna, thank you so much for your time today. It was wonderful having this conversation with you. And now I'd like to hand over to Barry Winkles, Chief Strategy Officer and Head of the Future of Work Institute, for his vision for the future.
The next competitive advantage lies with those organisations that can clearly define and purposely design their future of work strategy. I believe the most important question that leaders can ask themselves today is, what is their version of the future of work story? One that integrates innovation, fresh perspectives, and works within the style and the culture of their organisations. Due to the coronavirus, we've put a main focus on the where and how we work, and it has had implications. Up to 70% of people are now highlighting a preference for some form of flexible or remote working in their week. But the future of work is about so much more than remote working. It's about how we design workplaces both physically and virtually. It's about how we manage our people, how we coordinate them, and how we deal with all the complexities of the different types of workers and employees from very diverse backgrounds. It's also about how we deliver the work, the technologies, the tools, the mindsets and the structures that we use that enables us to deliver efficiently, but also in a human way, a sustainable way and an innovative way. So where do we start on our future of work journey? Well, I believe that the first question we need to ask ourselves is, what are we fighting for or fighting against in our organisation? Now, the temptation is to pick lots of things, but I would suggest we only need to pick one thing or 3 things at the most. It may be that you're fighting for hyper collaboration within your business, or it may be that you're trying to instill a culture of deep curiosity, or equally you want to be the world's most inclusive employer. Conversely, you might be fighting against a lack of belonging or a lack of human centricity. This is a really important step. If we miss this first step, we run the risk of lots of initiatives and not, to paraphrase Steve Jobs, create a dent in our universe. For the second step in our journey, it's really useful to think about work through what I call the 3 Ws: workplace, workforce, and work task. Workplace refers to the physical and digital places where we do our work. Workforce refers to the people and how we organise the workforce. Work tasks relate to how we deliver the work. Now, imagine for a moment that what you're fighting for in your organisation is hyper-collaboration. From a workplace perspective, you might prioritise deep, immersive online digital environments. Equally, you might change the way in which you use your offices. You might turn some of those offices into collaboration hubs. You might take some inspiration from the entertainment and VR industries. As an example of what's possible, have a look at Take Me to Your Burn virtual event. This is an unofficial event based on the Burning Man Festival, and it includes immersive DJs, workshops, and music events. Equally, you might take some inspiration of the hub and spoke designs of the Disney theme parks and how they utilise those designs to simplify journeys and to make them memorable. From a workforce perspective, you might decide to create a new online platform that enable you to tap in by the hour to different types of capabilities from all around the world, enabling you to collaborate with very diverse skill sets. Have a look at what General Electric are doing on their Genius Link platform, where they can access millions and millions of experts across different competencies all over the world. Equally, you might want to look at new learnings in network theory and how to apply those to creating deep communities. Or you might decide to look at how fan clubs drive great loyalty across their fan base. From a work task perspective, you might prioritise small working groups who are managed autonomously. You might look towards special forces and their principles and how they deliver work in small teams. Equally, you might look at organisations like Spotify and how they use a guild structure to deliver agile work. Equally, you might look at organisations like Supercell, who use work practices based on cellular structures to deliver their work. Their CEO, Ilkka Paninen, calls himself the world's least powerful CEO, and that gives you a sense of how they're trying to flatten hierarchy within their organisation. As you go on your journey, it's really important that you keep 2 things in mind. The first one is that you are the designer of your future of work story. You are the one that can decide what to dial up and dial down across those 3 Ws. The second thing that's really important to keep in mind is to adopt what the Japanese call a shoshin mindset, a beginner's mindset, that you look at the way you work in a very open way with no pre-considerations of what's possible. This will enable you to create experiments that you're happy to fail in and will enable you to tap in to new sources of inspiration and ideas. To paraphrase William Gibson, the future work is absolutely here. It's just not evenly distributed, nor is it always found in obvious places. It's up to you to create your own version of it. Leaders, over to you. Thank you.
And now for a deeper dive into the vision behind the new brand, CEO Anne Herity.
We are proud to present our new brand logo. It builds on the previous logo so that it is at once innovative and yet it's familiar. The logo can stand on its own and along with the CPL written word. It was important to us that the logo represented us, our approach, and our people. As a result, we have worked really hard to put meaning into our logo. Our logo meaning. Cogs in the Outsea represent our importance to our clients, candidates, colleagues, and community. We are an important cog in the world of work. The C represents C for CPL, but it also means more than that. Viewed in overhead, it represents an embrace and highlights how we are continually driving a culture of inclusiveness. The merging colours in the large C represent transformation and renewal. It's our strategy in action. The colours are made up of 4 colours, which also represent our core pillars of service. The large dot represents one large eye on the future, and the small dot represents a nod to our past and is actually the small dot of our previous logo motif. We are proud of our new brand, and we're looking forward to working the future with our clients, our candidates, our colleagues, and the communities within which we operate. Thank you.
People are indeed the fuel, and here are some of CPL's own people responding to the new brand.
My name is Sharon Weiss and I'm the Group HR Director for CPL Resources plc. CPL is recognised as the 13th Great Place to Work, and we're really proud of that achievement.
Work the Future really encapsulates everything about CPL at the moment. There's been significant change within our organisation. It's a really exciting time. A lot of our customers, both our clients and our job seekers, are very fixed, particularly in pandemic times, on what is around the corner. And I think it really secures CPL's position as being extremely relevant in such changing times.
My name is David Marshall. I'm the Head of Corporate Development at CPL Resources plc. CPL is an exciting business as we face into the future because it's a great platform for a sustainable growth business. It's got a strong business model, strong balance sheet, strong management team, and most of all, it's in a space with a strong structural drivers to support that growth for many years to come.
My name is Stephen Mullen. I'm Business Development Director for the CPL Group. I ensure a client-first mentality by focusing on the client's needs and then collaborating and connecting with internal CPL teams to deliver a first-class solution for our client.
My name is Lisa Holt and I am MD of CPL Ireland. I love our new brand. It's refreshing, it's unique, it's appealing, and I don't think it could have come at a better time. We're all really excited and impressed by it.
My name's Donald Murphy. I'm the Business Operations Director for CPL. I'm a big fan of the new brand. I find it very subtle, and what I like about it is when I think about CPL, CPL has many different solutions, services, businesses and enterprises, and each one of those is reflected with a different colour, and those colours, when brought together, show a true reflection of the whole CPL group.
My name is Niall McDevitt. I'm the Managing Director of CPL Healthcare. We operate across agency and permanent placement in international markets and also at home. We place nurses, allied health professionals, doctors, healthcare assistants and social care staff. I think the new brand is really good. It's very strong, it's a nice evolution on the old brand, and I really like it.
My name is Alicia Hegarty. I am the Strategic Wellness Lead for CPL's Future of Work Institute, and I help organisations with their corporate wellness strategies. I really like CPL's new brand. I think it very much complements the old and the new and brings us into the future.
My name is James Lutit and I'm the Chief Information Officer at CPL. Technology is disrupting the talent sector in so many different ways. If I think about our clients, they're expecting data right at their fingertips. Our candidates are expecting an end-to-end seamless journey, and our colleagues are really just wanting to focus on what they do best, which is building their relationships with the people that they're working with day in, day out.
My name is Declan Murphy. I'm just celebrating 20 years as Chief Executive of ServiceSource. The new brand is amazing. It's visually impactful, and the tag "Work the Future" gives us something that is a business that we can all stand behind and convince clients basically that we are future and forward-looking.
And that brings us to the end of today's event. Huge thanks to Anne Herity, Lorna Khan, Barry Winkles, and all the team who joined us for today's contributions. But mainly thank you to you, CPL clients, for joining us. I look forward with huge anticipation to see what CPL become as they work the future.